You're listening to Soulful High Performance with Dr. Rosie Mead. This is the place to be if you want to discover how to level up and achieve lasting success on your terms without the stress. I'm determined to share with you the tools, habits and mindset that you need to take your life to the next level so that you too can become a soulful high performer. Hi, and welcome to the show. I hope that you're having a lovely day. I am hopping on today with a bit of a thoughtful post, I suppose, in some ways. So I'm going out for dinner this evening, in just a bit actually, with one of my best friends from uni. And she's moving to Australia in a few days' time, like 10 days' time. And even as I say that, to be honest, I'm getting a bit choked up. It's, like a big transition. And I think it's all about kind of reminding ourselves of the ebb and flow. And especially as high performers, as high achievers, it's about getting comfortable with change. Whether that's that we're leveling up, changing our performance or our habits or our lifestyle or our relationships, all of these different things, we don't grow in the comfort zone. And there's that kind of wonderful image of the circle, and it's like your comfort zone, and then there's like a little thing outside the circle which is where you grow. And that's so true, is that stepping out of your comfort zone is really where you start to fly. We don't fly in the comfort zone. And so my best friend Sarah has really taught me that one. She absolutely loves to travel. She has an Instagram profile dedicated to her love of traveling. And when her and her husband Andy were offered the opportunity to relocate for work to Australia, they grabbed it. And I think there's so much that we can all learn from that, is really following our intuition. If an opportunity comes your way, to consider what your heart's telling you. And if your heart's really strong and the message is super, super clear, your brain will come with you. So I'm hoping that makes sense. And also the other way, I've been talking before about vision making, how we can manifest these opportunities. Because if we tap into our heart, into our core desires, what our heart is telling us, and actually stop for a moment and really listen to it. What's your intuition telling you? What's your gut telling you? Chances are it's often right. And in terms of vision making, it's thinking about what's that message coming from your heart, and actually listen to it and then bring your brain with you. And if your brain's on board and you can control your thoughts and your behaviours, if your brain's on board, it's going to spot opportunities to get you there. And I think that's something that we can really learn from, friends. I'm sure you've got people in your own circle who on the outside might seem like, they've had this opportunity and they're like having like a life-changing decision. And we can learn so much from that, from actually listening to our intuition, from grabbing life with both hands. How often do we do that? And now I'm not saying that the only way we can do that is by emigrating to the other side of the world, but we can say yes a lot more. Now, on the flip side of it, this is going to sound, what's the word? Hypocritical. But also we need to make sure that we're saying no to the things that aren't serving us, so that we can say a big fat yes to those opportunities that come our way for amplifying. That's a term that I use over and over and over again, is about amplifying our performance, amplifying our lifestyle. And the way that we can make space to say a big fat yes to those things isn't by saying yes to every single opportunity that comes our way. And often when we do that, we're not saying yes for ourselves, we're saying yes to other people's expectations. And often we're saying yes because actually it feels more comfortable to be able to say yes than it does to say no and risk disappointing someone or letting someone down. But the way that we can say a big fat yes to those opportunities, and you know the ones that your heart and your gut just tell you, like, this is incredible. You will regret it if you say no to this opportunity. The way that we can say yes to those things is by having boundaries in place, is by saying no to the things that don't serve us. And as high performers, that is a big part of it, is getting comfortable with change, as I said at the beginning, and getting comfortable with saying no, with turning things down. Now, I must admit, this is something that has taken me years, and I don't think we ever get to a point where we've sussed it. High performance isn't about that. It's not a kind of climbing a ladder and once you get to the top, that's it. High performance is kind of, I was just thinking of an image in my head, it's like an escalator, but the escalator you don't get to the top, and that's actually not the point of being a high performer. It's very much about that journey. And so if we focus on that journey, we are much more able to say yes to the things that are going to serve us on that journey. And we're constantly learning and getting comfortable with saying no to the things that aren't going to serve us. So I think it's really important to share the kind of the emotional side of it as well. So yes, I will shed a tear. I'm about to cry now as I'm recording this episode, because it's not the end of an era. I think that's the thing. It is just the next chapter. And that's probably what we have to remind ourselves when we have these things, whatever it is. Some of us will be having the first day of our child's school life in September. And yeah, I remember shedding a tear when both of my girls started school, because it felt like a kind of closing of one door. But the excitement comes because it's the opening of a new door. And that's what we have to remind ourselves, is that especially as high performers, we're not going to be staying in our comfort zone, as I've said. So that means that there will be these chapters along the journey where things will evolve and change and expand. And yes, it's okay to shed a tear. I mean, from a brain perspective, tapping into our emotions is critical, and feeling comfortable with expressing our emotions. I'm very much a wear my heart on my sleeve type person, and I cry at lots of things. My kids are always teasing me because I cry at things on the television. I cry at Disney films. I'm very much in tune with my emotional side in that way, which sometimes makes people feel uncomfortable, and I'm kind of used to that. But tapping into our emotions and our feelings, and not seeing that as kind of a negative. But yeah, like I said, tonight I will shed some tears, and that's natural. But it's also, I'm so excited for Sarah and Andy starting this new life, a new chapter in their life. Plus, I'm also selfishly quite excited about coming to visit them in Sydney. So there's a win-win all round. And that's the thing with things like this, is tapping into, where's that excitement? Where's that energy? It's not the closing of one door. It's the opening of a whole new chapter, a whole new world. And to embrace it. I think if you can take anything from this episode today, is to embrace life, to grab those opportunities that come our way that you just think, oh my God, I can't not say yes to this opportunity because it's just so frigging amazing and I need to grab it. So whatever is going on in your life at the moment, focus on those things that you can say no to, that you need to say no to. And sometimes you've just got to step up and say no and get into that kind of uncomfortable position, thinking what it's going to look like when you do say no and when you're able to say yes to those big opportunities that are coming your way. So what things do you need to say no to right now, and what things are you going to embrace and say a hell yes when they come your way? Anyway, I'm going to head off and go meet Sarah for drinks and dinner and a massive hug that's got to last her getting to Sydney. And I shall finish this episode now before I start crying again. I will catch you tomorrow in the Daily Vibe. Thanks for listening to today's episode. If you loved it, share it with at least 3 friends. Grab a screenshot, share, and don't forget to tag me. You can find me on all social channels at Dr. Rosie Mead. I'd love to support you further in your soulful high performance journey. Come and grab my free Success Without Stress starter kit. You can find the link in the show notes.